Hey people of the VC, it's Andy Cloudy Mulder. Now, I don't know about you, but over the last few years, partly as a result of me getting into music a little bit more over the last 5 years or so, and what I mean by that is, through VC videos, interacting with people, learning about new bands and what have you. Anyway, my record collection has kind of really exploded over the last 4 or 5 years, to the point where let's be honest, I have got stuff in far quicker than I can really truly absorb them and get to know albums really well. It wasn't like that when I was a kid buying records. I had to save up for money. I would play a record over and over again because it was new, and I had nothing else to play. So I really got to know albums in depth. These days, I don't think I've really given myself or the albums a chance to really get absorbed before I stick them on the shelf. And I seem to be constantly focusing on new stuff I'm getting in. So I decided that I would do something to rectify that. Now, I listen to a lot of music on the go. I still buy a lot of CDs, and as soon as I buy a CD, I rip it to a lossless music file, and I play it on this little FIO lossless music player. And it's got a 256 gig SD card in there, and so I've always got music with me on the go. And I realize I'm getting to know CDs I'm buying a lot better than albums I'm buying necessarily. So I thought it was about time that I rectified that and enabled me to listen to the music I'm getting, albeit not the records, on the go. So, excuse me. So what I'm doing now is every time I'm buying new albums, I'm going to show them an update, what have you. Once they're cleaned up, I've got a laptop next to my computer all plugged in, and using Audacity, I am effectively ripping the album to digital lossless files and taking them out with me and listening to them a lot more on the go. And it makes it certainly a lot more accessible, because I can only listen to music in this room otherwise if it's down to record, and that severely limits the time I have available to explore my collection. Now, I've had on occasion I've had hard disk failures, and it's always a bit galling if you lose music or pictures or what have you, and especially ripping vinyl. It takes time. Obviously, you have to do it in real time. You can't just, like a CD, put it in your laptop, burn it, and it's done in less than a minute. Records have to be recorded in real time. So I started to I thought, well, I'll back them up onto CD, and just simply no frills on the CD side, a bunch of CDRs, put them on there. But then when the box started building up, because I've been doing this for quite some time now with all my new releases, I decided it would be nice if I sort of printed off some front covers. This is a Funeral Horse, Sinister Rites of the Master, and then on the back, just do a. This is just a scrape from Discogs, that first little bit of information. I strip out the genre because everything's rock, and I strip out the format because it's not vinyl. And this relates to the release I have on vinyl. And so I have now got a box with a fair amount of these I've put in. For instance, when I did the Acid Rain video recently, I just copied them as I was listening to them, ripped them onto here, so I could take them out and about with me, listen to them whenever I want, not just when I'm in the room, and then created these copies on CDs. Now, I'll never play these CDs, probably. They're just purely there as backups, but I kind of liked making them look like mini albums as well. There's another reason why I'm kind of doing this, but I'm not going to go into it right now because it's a little bit irrational and it may not click with many of you. But for now, it's really all about being able to access the music. All right, it's not playing the record, I get that, it doesn't sound the same, blah blah blah, yeah, I know that, but at least I can get to know the music a lot better and take it out and about with me, as I've said. So I figured I also need to do this with records that are on my record shelf that I've not been listening to for quite some time. So I decided to tackle 5 records at a time and get to know them again, copy them, stick them on my portable player, back them up to CD, print the covers off, or what have you, and certainly had a little bit more time with lockdown. So that's what I've been doing. And then I figured out there's an idea for a series here. So this series, Ripping Metal, is all about me revisiting 5 albums at a time from my collection. Some you may well have seen me show in the VC in the past. Some may have been before you started watching VC videos. So to all intents and purposes, they're new. Hearing my opinion of them is new to you. But I've got 5 I picked out at random. Can be anything from 80s, 90s, noughties, anything new. Basically something I've not listened to for a while, and I'm going to try and get to know them a bit better. So let's dive in. The first one. Oops. Death Angel, The Evil Divide. This is Death Angel's 8th studio album. It's a 3-sided record. The 4th side has an etching on it. And our favourite song off here, I've decided now, is Lost. It's absolutely a cracking song, that one. I find Father of Lies, the song that comes after it, is a little bit shouty. And if it was me, again, I would have left that one off the album, and I probably would have put Lost twice, just to save me having to pick up the needle and play it again, because I find I'd be playing Lost over and over again quite a lot. But this album, it's a modern thrashed piece, as Darcy would say. May even be knocking on the door of my favourite Death Angel album. I'm not sure, but certainly my favourite one of the modern era, although nostalgia does draw me back to the first couple of albums as well. Favourite tracks to say, Lost, obviously. Breakaway, that's great. The Moth, and the Electric Cell. So great to reacquaint myself with this one, and it is now available to spin on the move, as I've got my wee little backup here. Well, that can go in the box. Next up is now this is an album I remember not really liking at all. I picked another one of those I picked up just because it was on Music for Nations, and that's Drive, She Said. Drive, She Said. What a naff name for a band, honestly. It's a self-titled album. It is pretty much AOR, and it's a bit on the soft side for my taste, even going back and revisiting now. It's basically 2 guys in the band, but 1 or 2 songs did stand out, and actually thought, well, you know, it's not bad. It's worth keeping just for those couple of songs. I think Hard Way Home was one of them, and actually Don't You Know, that one actually shreds a bit. It's got some good solos in there, but it's kind of a bit Michael Bolton meets Bon Jovi, if I had to come up with a comparison. But for you, obligatory ballad is Dull, Dull, Dull. And it's produced by Aldo Nova. So not one I'm going to revisit much often, but as I say, I ended up with a slightly better opinion than I did for revisiting it. And there's my rip of that one as well into the archive box. After Merciful Fate split up, or certainly after Hank Sherman left Merciful Fate, he formed a band called Fate. Now this isn't Merciful Fate, it's nothing like Merciful Fate. In fact, it is a little bit more at times on the AOR side as well. Although the songs that I would consider to be AOR and a little bit soft tend to get saved a bit by the guitar songs and Hank Sherman's noodling away on those records, and it turns a song that I think is a bit meh into a song that's not bad at all. I'm going to compare these to Bon Jovi as well, but this time Bon Jovi crossed with Motley Crue, as I feel that I don't know the name of the the vocalist's name. I don't have the right inner sleeve for this. When I bought it, actually came with an inner sleeve that is in Danish, sorry. Is in Danish, but is the wrong. It's not the right inner sleeve for the band. It was a charity shop pickup for £2, but this is far better than I remember. And well worth revisiting. Some good hard rock on there, but bordering on the AOR side with the Motley Crue type vocals as well. And there's my archive for posterity. Fourth one I've got for you is the mighty Saxon. Now, the whole period of Saxon between the 90s and the noughties, a bit, well, in the noughties as well, was an area that I didn't delve into, and it's only recently got into. And I did get the Eagles and Dragons box set for Christmas a couple of years ago, and it's taken me, in fact, it's taken me so long to get into it, I kind of forget I've got the box set. The box set is up there, and there are still some records in it I've not spun because they're in the box set, and they're kind of harder to get out, and other things came into the inbox, and that's how it goes in my collection. But the randomizer picked me out the Inner Sanctum, which is an album I had actually heard before from the box set. But this is Saxon doing heavy metal at their finest. So this was originally released in 2007. This is the 2016 Demon Records reissue that came in the box set. 17th studio album. By 2007, Saxon had released 17 albums, which is phenomenal from their part. It's got Nigel Glocker returning on drums. Highlights on here for me are Need for Speed and Let Me Feel Your Power. And no one else other than Saxon can really do a song called I've Got to Rock to Stay Alive. Finishes up with an 8-minute epic, Attila the Hun. If you are unfamiliar with sort of post-80s Saxon and you want to hear how heavy they got, check out the Inner Sanctum. It is absolutely superb. This is comparable to the likes of Thunderbolt and Battering Ram, their most recent releases. Stands up well against those two. There we have my CD for the archive. It goes in the box. As I say, never to be played, but I will never have to rip the album again. I can just rip the CD. And finally, Girls' School, Take a Bite. Now, this is an album I showed in my Girls' School collection video recently, but when it got picked out, I was happy to give it another spin again. And I'm probably going to just repeat what I said in the Girls' School collection video. So Take a Bite is from 1988 on GWR Records, same label that Motorhead were on. In fact, Lemmy has credits for one of the songs on here, Head Over Heels. Former bass player Enid Williams, she provides backing vocals on here as well. And this to me is a real return to form for Girls' School. I wouldn't say it's heavy metal, but it's good, upbeat, rocking, hard rock. As usual, Girls' School, crappy cover, Fox on the Run. But just about every other song. Action, Girls on Top, Tear It Up. Love at First Bite that's the weak song on here. But this time, Don't Walk Away, Too Hot to Handle. It's just really good Girls' School album. I think thoroughly underrated. And if you are familiar with Girls' School, but you've not checked out Take a Bite, I would thoroughly recommend this one as well. So there we have it. That's my 5 from the archives that I've refamiliarized myself with. Basically, I'm going to do another 5, and when I've consumed them and ripped them and backed them up and put them on my device, and I've really given them a good listen, I'll show another 5. So I'm going to limit this series just to albums that I don't have on CD also, because there's obviously no point in copying those if I've got a CD copy already, because it's already on the device. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.